All right. Where am I? I'm still right here. Look at that. What a mug, right? You spend your weekend alone and quiet, then all of a sudden this guy jumps out at you. You know my name, Caesar. Dell will be back. He did say he'll definitely be back next month, and he'll be stronger and better than ever. So for all you Dell fans out there, I know there's people at the nursing home. There's quite a few Team Dell, but I am slowly rising to the top, and Dell's gonna have to catch up because you know I'm Caesar. Even though there's also a team someone else here. Let's see, who is it at? Where's it? Oh, that fool's not here. There's not a team Dorf. I'll tell you that. Sorry, Dorf.
There's definitely a
There,
Team Dorf. They're just the
there,
silent ones.
there's definitely not a team Dorf. And the other thing too is we have bringing on a new cat. I've known this guy now for a while. His name is Fable. There he is.
Station,
Hey
what's
there.
going on, guys?
Yeah, on station. Yeah, Fable from One Collection Down on IG. He also does Blame Fable on YouTube. He's gonna have plenty of time to plug his show because he's gonna have because that's what we do. We kind of bring people up here, and then the other guy is now. This guy has a team ish. Isn't that right, ish? He's shoving his mouth. Look at this guy. Team ish. There he goes. Don't you
Yo,
don't have to speak. There you go. You have to speak.
Why does Ish have
And
a
then
team and I don't?
hmm? Did
Why
I
does
do it?
Ish have a team but Dorf doesn't? This doesn't seem
because
right.
you do, I think hell, I think even Fable has a team. You know,
Actually have a
and
team. Actually have a really dope team.
I,
And I
I
have a
yeah.
think
really dope community, which I want to shout out real quick because Peter Moresk, I see him in there. Shout out to the Common Sense Community Crowd crew. Y'all are always dope. Thanks for showing up and showing out and supporting the Common Menu podcast. Love them.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Got Taki, Abby. Hello, Abby. We're ready to party. Team Caesar, yes. Team Dell, yes. That's right, Abby. Thank you for being the steward over there at the nursing home. Uh, Team X. There you go. Right. So in a little, and hopefully not too long, we have a fourth person joining us, and we all know and love him by Frank with Atlas. He'll be jumping in as well. So we have a few topics to talk about. It's gonna be
He means,
mainly.
he means the fifth person, y'all. But you know,
Oh, fuck, man! I'm
he
telling
can't
you.
read, he can't count. Just
I,
leave
I,
his
I,
deficiencies on
I,
his
I, listen, you son of a bitch. I'm just saying. All right. Going back to work, my brain is scrambled. It's scrambled, straight up lobotomy. So cut a brother a break. Um, we're going to be talking about a lot of trailers that's been dropping. We're going to talk about Captain America that will be starting Friday already. We're going to be talking about the Thunderbolts trailer that dropped during the Super Bowl. We're going to especially be talking about Fantastic Four. We haven't had a chance on this show yet to talk about Fantastic Four because there's a whole lot of people talking about a movie that have no one's ever really seen yet. My favorite. That's my absolute favorite. When people are talking shit about a movie they haven't even seen yet. I love it.
and
Morons.
for the
You know,
most ridiculous
reasons, Oh my god! So we're gonna get into that. We could also talk about a little bit of MegaCon, and yeah, I finally made it. It was a year in the making. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun, and we'll wait for also for Frank to show up to talk about that.
hey
So
Abby,
let's I'll tell you what. Let's talk about some Captain America. All right. Starting Friday. What are your guys' expectations? All right, let's start. Let's go around the horn here. Let's go with you. You know what? Let's go with the new guy. All right, Fable. Expectations. What are you thinking?
I mean, my expectations are tempered, right? Because past few years of Marvel, I don't know, it's been kind of meh for me. But this movie definitely has the vibes of my favorite Marvel movie, which is the Winter Soldier. I love that kind of like espionage, um,
Mm-hmm.
sort of grounded reality. Even though we got a Red Hulk in there, but still government stuff. So I'm slightly optimistic. I do like Harrison Ford. I'm interested. I want to see how he looks as the Red Hulk, or what they're even going to do with the Red Hulk. Is he going to speak? Is he what's the deal there? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I forgot his name. Captain America.
Sam Wilson,
Sam Wilson.
Anthony
No, the
Mackie.
actor.
Anthony
Yeah,
Mackie.
Mackie. I think Mackie gets a bad rap sometimes for no reason. I think he's been an excellent Captain America or Falcon while he's been in the MCU. So, I mean, I'm slightly more than, I'm a little less than optimistic. I'm like in the middle, like excited and you know, tempered expectation. Just right in the middle there.
So the question to you, and I'm going to ask this question to all the guys: bomb or succeed?
Um, I think succeed. Um, I think people want to. I think people. This is a movie that is gonna. People are gonna want to see, if not for the MCU, just to get a good old action movie out. You know what I mean? It's been kind of dry, I think, for the past few months. So I think this is one that's gonna be just. At least people are just gonna come out just to come out, and this is the one that'll bring them out. I think, if not for the MCU, just action.
Well, I will say Peter's saying that he's digging it. His only gripe is that the Hulk looks like Harrison Ford. I okay. Peter, are you kind of digging? Are you kind of digging in the crates here with the? Because that's kind of minor. That doesn't really bother me. Dorf, what did it say?
So, sorry. All right.
Hands up, hands up.
My wife has asthma, and unfortunately, it creates a cough. Anyhow, so I have to first of all say the reason Anthony Mackie gets a bad rap is because Papa Doc went to a private school. But outside of that, it's
Stupid.
an 8 Mile reference, Caesar.
Clarence has really good parents.
So I love Captain America. He's been my favorite Marvel character since long before there was an MCU. I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to him taking up the shield more than just a final scene in the show. I think it can be really good. But I will say that the build up to it has been, for me, less than I would have hoped because of the length of time in between one to the other and the back and forth and all the speculation because of reshoots and things, that it has taken my excitement down a little bit. Not because I don't think it'll be good because of that, but because of all the speculation that comes between it and all the people who just say things are going to suck from the start. I think it will be a success. I think it's going to do a lot better than a lot of things I've done recently. The biggest reason is because it is a character, whether they care about it being Sam Wilson or Anthony Mackie or whatever, it is a character that is cared about, which I think automatically gives it a little bit more interest for even the novice fan. Like, people say, oh, well, no one, the stupid director of The Flash who said no one cared about The Flash. So that's what people care about The Flash. They had no faith in the actor, in anything about what was tied around that movie. This is different. Anthony Mackie has been in good Captain America movies. He's been in good Avenger movies. So there is an existing character that has love for him, that has something that came before it that you also enjoyed, that I think will help it to succeed, even if it's not going to be the levels of previous Marvel stuff.
All right. And what do you think? Bomb or succeed?
I literally just said that.
I didn't hear you because I hardly listen to you when you speak. So can you repeat it, please?
Once again, I think it will be a success and not a failure because of the existing love for the character and what Anthony Mackie has already previously been in that people loved as well.
All right. Okay. All right,
I
Ish.
apologize for repeating to the audience.
No, it's perfectly
I'm going to
fine.
answer the question first, and then I'm going to
Yes.
give my thoughts.
All
So I
right.
have some thoughts. I think it will succeed. I think it will be a success. I think it will be a resounding success.
Wow. Okay.
And I think it will be a resounding success. I'm going to give some thoughts, but to validate what I'm saying or support my position. I think one, it's Captain America 4, right? It's not Sam Wilson Captain America 1. It's Captain America 4. Marvel knows where their bread has been buttered. It is their most popular franchise. And I'm not talking about a solo franchise outside of like the Avengers movies. Civil War, Winter Soldier, highly regarded as 2 of the best Marvel films, period, point and blank. Period. Many people put Winter Soldier as the top, right? So this is Captain America 4. The drawback to this is it's Anthony Mackie. I like him. I think he's perfect in that Falcon is that character in comics that is always there that you don't remember he's there until he's there. And that's the same thing that's happening with Sam Wilson, Captain America in the movies. You don't remember he's there till he's there, but he's there. Like Dwarf said, he's fit seamlessly in every movie. You know what I mean? And when you need to know he's there, he's there. He had a great television show. The drawback is going to be there are going to be people who show up and say, it's not Steve Rogers, it's woke. That's going to hurt it on some level, but not enough. And the reason why I say not enough is because Marvel knows where their bread is buttered. We have been waiting for a good movie for a long time. This is going to be it. They're going to pull out all the stops. I'm going to tell you what sold me. Because I agree, the build up to me, while was phenomenal, it didn't move me as a comic fan. When I say phenomenal, they've marketed this movie for some years now. They've actually marketed this movie for some years now. It wasn't until about 2 weeks ago where I was standing in my room and I heard a trailer. I watched all the other trailers, but I heard a trailer. And the trailer I heard made me go to my phone and find this trailer. And it said, adamantium, the resource that we want, the adamantium. And then it said adamantium again. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. For 2 years, they've been marketing this movie and I haven't heard adamantium. Now I'm hearing adamantium. Listen, adamantium, it means Wolverine, means X-Men, means so many things.
Right.
They are going to give us something in this movie that we are not expecting. Something that we didn't see in the trailer. We're going to see a character. We are going to see something that nobody is thinking about and no one is expecting. And that is going to quell the naysayers. It's going to hush them right up. This movie, in my opinion, is going to start off, and I'm going to leave it here. It's going to start off like the Marvels, where everybody hated it just because they wanted to hate it. And then 6 months later, oh, it wasn't so bad. Oh, it was better than or The Eternals, another film, these Marvel films where people hated it because you want to hate it. And then suddenly it's not so. I mean, I'm not saying Eternals was great. I'm saying people are not saying it was so bad anymore. This one is going to be way better than that. It is going to be the best version of it's not so bad in not even 6 months, in 2 months. It's going to be the best. We're going to get something dope, and I'm excited for it.
And what do you think about Red Hulk having Harrison Ford's face?
So I don't think Red Hawk will really be fighting Sam Wilson, by the way. I mean,
the question is, how much screen time is Red Hulk really going to have? Right.
They'll be fighting something else. And you're right, though. But I mean, screen time is like if he gets 5 minutes broken up over the course of the movie, that's a lot of time. That 5 minutes broken up over the course of a film is a lot of time. So
they did discuss who the villain is, right? Isn't it the Serpent Society or who is it? Is that who they are? Is that the main antagonist in this?
It's supposed to be the Serpent Society, obviously played by Giovanni.
Giovanni.
Giancarlo.
Giancarlo Esposito. There you go.
Esposito. All right. So I guess my other question is, what's going to be the big surprise at the very end, people? What are they going to do? What's your spec? What's going to be the little?
I'm seeing it at 5:20 in the afternoon on Thursday, so it can't be spoiled for me by anyone else.
We're gonna get. We're obviously gonna get the new Falcon. Obviously,
okay. So
but we already know that's coming.
All right. Who's the new Falcon? For those that you're thinking, for a lot of people are like, oh, what are you talking about?
He's a Latino character.
Oh, that one dude. What's his name? Red Bird or what is his nickname?
His name is Falcon.
His call sign doesn't.
No. Yeah, exactly. Because it's not his little buddy that he.
No, it's not the actual bird. It's a character.
No, you fool. I'm talking about the character that he that hangs out with him, and I think
Peter
the last.
Joaquin Torres.
Peter says Joaquin Torres.
Joaquin Torres. Right, Joaquin Torres. Is that okay? You know what? Is Falcon a character that people really care about? Honestly,
I still want his first appearance. If anyone has it, they want to give it to me.
Black superhero, if that matters to anyone, I like that personally. I care about him. I don't care to read him, but his first appearance is important to me.
Yeah, I need that first appearance.
Red Wing.
Red Wing, yeah. Okay, so this is my thing. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the spec. What do we think? What do you think? What's going to be the post? You know, the after. Hey, are you going to stay? What are we thinking? In this, because I have. Okay, what do you guys think?
Are you talking general spec about the movie or like spec?
No. I'm talking about I'm talking about who are they going to drop? What teaser are they going to do at the end of the movie that's going to have everyone go, oh man?
I'm going to tell you what I think it is, and I think it's going to be in the cutscene. I think it's going to be Hydra Steve Rogers.
Oh, they're going to. Is that what you're thinking,
They're going to open that already?
Yeah, I think they're going to see it. I think we're going to see Hydra like a clone type deal in a cutscene.
I could see it being a Steve Rogers, but not giving away any Hydra stuff yet. Because again, that's supposed to be happening in Secret Wars. They've already given that up that it's supposed to happen. But I feel like you still want to have that glimmer of hope. But you still want to have that glimmer of hope that it's Steve Rogers.
You know what I mean?
And not Hydra Rogers. Right. I feel like they still want to have that glimmer of hope out there. So I don't know that they would give it away just like that, but I could see it being something like that.
Well, just putting a Steve Rogers in any state, right? Not awake is giving it away that it's Hydra. To us hardcore fans, like we know it's not going to be, you know what I mean, Captain America Steve Rogers.
But we are still the minority.
With the multiverse open as it is, you could definitely expect something like that. I think just having Chris Evans, period, his presence on the screen, I think people are just going to go mad. So you don't really have to do even much. Like you said, you don't have to make him Captain Hydra right away. Just showing his face would just drive people bananas. I mean, look what he did in Deadpool and Wolverine. When he showed up as freaking
Human Torch.
Johnny Blaze. Not Johnny Blaze.
Storm.
Johnny Storm. Yeah. People went crazy.
He draws. Right? Let's be honest.
Have you seen Chris Evans' body of work outside of superhero movies? He's awesome. I'm sorry. I mean, see Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer's the one that you can point out.
Is the one that what?
Is the one
you can
that
point out.
You know what I mean?
And there was issues saying he doesn't have much.
Scott Pilgrim, he's a lot of fun in it. I mean, it's not like he drove the movie, but
you really went way back for Scott Pilgrim.
What'd you say?
Because I
went way back for Scott Pilgrim.
He's been doing.
If you're gonna,
I'm sorry, you want to go way back? Not another teen movie. He was fun in that movie.
I never watched it.
It's a terrible, cheesy.
So what Ish is saying basically is, other than Marvel movies,
same with
Wasn't he in those
right?
detective
He's
movies?
fun in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he was in
not really big. Well, I mean, the thing about Chris Evans is he's really good behind the camera too. So
Look, he's in
All right.
a great movie called Gifted, where he's with a child with special needs and what, but it's not this major blockbuster. If you see more of his work, that's not necessarily his blockbusters. You'll see he's got range and he's done some other great stuff.
Now, let me ask you guys, because he did announce that he is coming back to the MCU, right? That's still a thing. Now we don't know in what capacity. That's why he said, "Fuck, I can see him in Hydra, right? I can see him
We know
as
what capacity.
Can
We know.
you just imagine Mackie throwing the shield and him catching it? Camera pan up, you see him. People are gonna lose it.
yeah." But imagine if they see him and all of a sudden they post up and it's you see the Hydra, logo on the chest, and then it's his face. Now that would be the shit.
Here's the thing. Take note of this. I'm saying this right now. If this Secret Wars goes well and Downey Doom and Hydra Cap come out and they hit, DC is going to have a Red Sun Superman show up. It's going to happen. If all of a sudden you take these heroes and you pop them in as villains and it hits, I mean, that's the only Superman that's ever been interesting to me. Like, there's no question.
I'm going to argue that, but only because I think James Gunn wants to purposely not be Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a good point, though. I just think James Gunn wants to really go out of his way to not be Marvel.
Yeah.
I
Can
think
I ask you a question though? Do you think that anything in this movie, because we've got 3 of them, 3 months apart, right? 2 or 3 months apart. You got this one, Thunderbolts coming in another 2 or 3 months, and then Fantastic Four in the summer. Do you think any breadcrumbs are going to be dropped in this one, as well as Thunderbolts, to Fantastic Four, or totally separate thing?
All of it. So this one is the end of phase 5, right? So I think, as they do with every phase, and they're building towards this Secret War, right? Because they're the Kang storyline, which the Kang storyline wraps up in Fantastic Four. I think we see something in Fantastic Four because it would only make sense with Kang being a distant relative of both Doom and Reed Richards, right? I think it only makes sense that the Kang storyline wraps up. But I think that's why I said I think we see Steve Rogers or something. Maybe we even see Wolverine. And I say that because I think that the goal is to now move away from Kang and into this multiverse storyline that we're about to tell. And we know Fantastic Four is in another reality, right? We know that it's completely in another reality. We know that with the Thunderbolts coming up, right? While it's not set in another reality, it opens the door with some of the things that the Void can do. We know he's going to be throwing characters into his Void realm, which is in essence outside of this reality. We've seen it in the trailer. Anyway, I'm sorry, go on. So yes, I think this plant seeds. I think they all plant seeds. Fantastic Four planting the biggest seeds.
So he just Peter, you just, because I was just about to say, so rumor has it they want to bring Kang back
to end the storyline.
Yeah, and I'm all for it, man. The thing is, I like Jonathan Majors. It just sucks when shit like that happens. And I like Kang, and I think he plays Kang fantastic. I like him as Kang, especially when he played the nerdy Kang, right, in Loki. I kind of like that throwback, but to just end it, I'm okay with it. Actually, he'll probably be okay with it because brother wants to get paid, right? I mean, he was already signed that contract to be in it for 4 movies or some goofy shit like that. So they could tweak a contract to at least end it. Or shit, why don't we have a Kang and Doom? Why not? You know what? Why not? Throw everything at us. But you mentioned James Gunn, and he made a comment that this Superman movie has a lot riding on it. And he's basically saying, without saying it, if this Superman movie blows, he's gonna have to rethink a lot of things. And he's almost saying, like, if this movie blows, then he doesn't know what he's gonna do. Because I respect that. I respect a director. I respect someone who's running a business, a show, and the first one sucks so bad that I don't care. I'm going to put out another thing that's going to suck bad. And if that one sucks bad, I don't care. I'm going to put out another one that sucks bad. Just because it's all cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And we all know that's the bottom line, right? They make these movies to bring in money, and they bring in money no matter what, even how bad it is, they still bring in money. Unless you're Madam Web. That's a whole different situation. But I really truly hope that DC starts to go on the tick. And you said you're going to disagree with the Red Sun. Why is that? Ish.
So I've been paying attention to what James Gunn's doing, right? And I watched obviously his Guardians of the Galaxy, which let's be real, right? The franchise thrived off of the strength of the first film, which nobody saw coming. Like really, we're not saying this franchise was great. It went out with a fizzle and not with a bang, right? It's not going to be considered one of the greatest Marvel movie trilogies, even though the first film is one of the best Marvel movies, hands down, one of the most successful Marvel movies, probably the best soundtrack, period. You know what I mean? One of the most memorable and enjoyable and fun movies, right? So I've been watching James Gunn. I've been listening to things he's been saying, right? I listened to him when he said, if you see it on the screen, it's canon. And then he said, so if you look at the monster cartoon that he's done, right? Like he's already tying Creature Commandos, right? Everything that's happening in is canon to his universe, right? Everything. So because of that, there are certain things he has acknowledged, right? He's acknowledged Peacemaker, right? So now Peacemaker, he said everything about Peacemaker's canon to his universe with the exception of the appearance of the Justice League, right? Like that one scene where the Justice League appeared in a silhouette in Peacemaker, that's not canon to his franchise, but everything is. So I'm just paying attention to what he's doing and listening to the things he's saying. And he's already kind of seamlessly building a universe. So I think kind of his thoughts on him not knowing what to do is a red herring, because clearly he has a plan. Supergirl's coming. Supergirl is coming. Whether Superman makes it or not, Supergirl's coming.
And like, we know that Lobo's coming. We know Lobo's coming with Supergirl.
Lobo's
I mean, there's your plan.
Right. So and not only that, this Superman movie, which to me, the trailer's kind of mixed, and I'm going to end this. The trailer's kind of What I remember him saying is that this Superman movie is going to open the door to the entire universe. So we're going to probably see 6 characters that we haven't even discussed or seen in a trailer. Seriously, because he already said as much. Like a long time ago, he said, tons of characters are going to be introduced in the Superman movie. The ones we've seen in the trailer are just the ones we've seen in the trailer. Do I think we're going to get a Red Sun out of Superman? I don't know how you do that with Supergirl. Especially Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And the reason why I'm saying that, and Dorf might see where I'm going, she's not nice. She's different than Superman. It's the reason why Superman always says she's more powerful than him. She's not. But because she's willing to do what he won't. Like, she'll go all out, and Superman's gonna hold back. So especially this version in Woman of Tomorrow. Like, she's not mean or anything, but she does not have, whereas Batman says Superman is the best of us, Kara is not. She don't have a problem doing the dirt.
It's the same reason why we picked Wonder Woman to win in that bracket challenge over Superman, because she'll go to that level that Clark won't. Kal-El won't.
Superman is always holding back, and he says it. Every time he fights anyone, period, he's always holding back. Because it's Superman.
Yeah, Superman is a hey Dan, welcome in. You're
Dan?
Hey Dan. And we're still waiting. Hopefully Frank will still join, so it'll be a party here, because this is always a good conversation, because we all have different opinions on your movie. So Dan, since you're joining, what are your thoughts on the Captain Falcon?
Ish, I want to first of all say I fucking love you, dude. I do. I love you. You're so knowledgeable. But I'm gonna say your comment about the Marvel movies, where you're like, we watch it and then 6 months later we go, oh, it wasn't that bad. That was every Marvel movie for like the last 6 years, right? I mean, so with all respect, right? I was already very apprehensive about Brave New World. And then you hear all the reshoots because apparently the pilot group, it didn't test well, so they had to do a bunch of reshoots to kind of salvage it. I'm hoping that the reshoots spare Feige and Marvel a lot of egg in their face, but I'm now more jazzed about a movie that I thought was a fringe movie, and it still is. I'm more jazzed about Thunderbolts now than Brave New World. Honestly, I can't wait to get through Captain America. I'm not convinced Anthony Mackie is the right character for that type of movie. I never was, even back in the old movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I want to see Thunderbolts now. I'm more excited about that than Cap. I know that sounds weird, and I don't mean
that
to waylay us,
Thunderbolt
but
trailer changed it. I feel like Thunderbolts is the next Winter Soldier.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, I'm so excited about it.
moving. Everything about that trailer was like, wait a minute. So the bad guy is Sentry, the Void, which we should have known. And
Sentry. That's
and Yelena Belova says, so all we do is punch and shoot, and it just puts it right there. It's like, okay, this is a team of people who cannot win against odds that are actually insurmountable. If this is written well, like, you can't win. This is them. This is Punisher ×5 fighting Superman Red Sun. Like, that's what it is. Like, it's literally Punisher ×5.
Like, I'm convinced Anthony Mackie has got to have like nude photos of Kevin Feige, because that's the only way he could be casted. That's the only way he'd be casted for this role. I mean, look at the Falcon in the old Captain America books, right? He's big, sometimes bigger than Steve Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Mackie looks like you just flick him away. You know, I mean,
well, let's be honest. Anthony Mackie, what can he do? He was already in. I mean, I know they replace guys all the time, but he's already in it. You're not gonna make this movie and all of a sudden have a whole different Falcon that's not Anthony Mackie, unless there was some kind of money dispute and all of a sudden some other brother just jumping in. They're like, hey, whatever happened to Anthony Mackie? I don't know. He wanted too much money. I don't. At this point, you're eating it. You're in it, and he's gonna. I think he's all right. I think Anthony Mackie's fine.
Isn't that the gist of this movie? And essentially, like, everybody has the doubts on him, whether you're a fan or you're in that world. People doubt him as a replacement for Steve Rogers in his own movie. I think he's going to vie to change a couple of minds in this one. I'm not saying he will, but I think that's their goal ultimately, to get people a little bit more on his side. This is his make it or break it moment, and I think they know that, and us as fans, we're obviously saying it here. Like, I don't know, he's never been like Steve Rogers. He's never been like Chris Evans.
Make it or break it moment for him, considering his performance in Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't garbage. Like, this is no one is hating this television show. No one is saying Falcon and Winter Soldier sucked.
No, I don't think it sucked. Okay, this is going to lead into our next segment. But go ahead, Fable.
Finish it because people like to say things are bad, and they really like to diss on Marvel things if it's not the surefire hit. So people definitely said it, but again, it got a bad rap that it didn't necessarily need. It wasn't this. It was in a way a buddy comedy of like buddy comedy action thing with Winter Soldier and Falcon together, and they enjoyed that playing off of each other. I think the majority of people really thought it was going to be Bucky who got the shield, and I think that just turned a lot of people the wrong way. Not because Anthony Mackie, damn you, you suck, but because it's not the guy they wanted. I think that's where a lot of it comes from.
It would have been true.
Nobody wants Winter Soldier to be Captain America in real life for longer than 10 minutes. Not even in comic books. Like, he's a murderer. He's the Winter Soldier. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it completely. I love the Winter Soldier character. I think Sebastian Stan killed that role. I think he's great in it. But I agree, he shouldn't be the long-term Captain America. But if you don't know comics like we do, and you know that in the comics he did become it,
I was going to say
and
that
people loved the Winter Soldier character.
The
He certainly
normies,
had much more prominent role in
Enormous, yeah.
a number of movies than Anthony Mackie did, then people are going to lean more that way just by nature of it. And then when they didn't get that, even though historically in the comics, one of them gets a much bigger turn as Cap than the other, people still wanted to see it the other way because they have more emotion invested in that character than they do in
how many of you guys remember the very first time when you were in the movie theaters and watching Winter Soldier and Bucky popped like that whole thing with the mask and the thing, and he had the the very first time I was like, damn.
Yeah, but he's
And
never
that-
been
and-
that character since. He's been a comedy act.
And it sucks because even the sound they made with his arm, his bionic arm doing that, it was done so fantastic. We fell in love with that Bucky, that Winter Soldier, and you're right. Ever since then, he turned into sort of a wussy Winter Soldier who has a good aim and that
No,
arm.
this is what I'm saying. Like, okay, Ish mentioned it earlier. Guardians of the Galaxy. Didn't see it coming. Fantastic top 5 Marvel movie. You could place it 1 through 5 wherever you are. But I think that movie also did a lot of damage to the MCU because I think they felt like that's what they needed for every movie.
Comedy?
And I understand. Yes, this whole, and I think Dan,
Bad comedy too.
I think Dan saying that he's excited for the Thunderbolts. I'm kind of trepidatious about the Thunderbolts because I see the Guardians of the Galaxy-ness in it, where you get these, group of band of outsiders, or you know what I mean? Put them all together, see what funny things happen. I'm not saying it's not going to be. I am more excited for it than Captain America, but I'm also worried because I see a lot of that Guardians of the Galaxy-ish stuff that's been plaguing Marvel since Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, Fable, I'll tell you exactly how Thunderbolts is going to play out. First part of the movie, they're going to form together and they're going to be uneasy with each other and finally come together. The rest of the movie, they're going to spend getting their ass kicked by this Sentry who would, in any other book, destroy them and you wouldn't even see the crumbs, right? And the only way Sentry is going to get defeated is because he is going to have some kind of sleight of conscience or something where he ends up going away or defeating himself, right? One of the Thunderbolts we definitely know is going to die in it. I don't know who, but we already know that's going to happen. So I don't expect much from the Thunderbolts, but I think the entertainment factor of the Thunderbolts with its cast of characters is going to
Do we freeze?
So I'm gonna
Yes.
add to what he's saying, and while he's frozen, I'm gonna let him come out. I'm gonna stop when he comes back. I'm gonna add to what he's saying. I think you are gonna get that comedic brotherhood, opposition-y stuff that you get when you're forming a team that with the same flavor that you get with Guardians of the Galaxy. I think you're gonna get that. But from the last trailer that I just saw, I think that you're also gonna get just the music that they play, the somber music and the really gripping, we're gonna go through hell. I think you're gonna get that moment that you get in movies that always impacts people where they're beaten and broken and they get back up. That Wonder Woman moment in Wonder Woman 1 when she's on the battle lines and everything's against her and she gets up and like you're gonna get that moment that people love where like, yo, this team is destroyed. They done. There's no way you can win. And they get up and they walk into certain demise anyway. Like I think you're going to get that. And yeah, you're gonna lose someone, but that's something that always makes people feel good.
Might lose more than one.
That moment, if it's done right, and I think that's what we're getting, unlike Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it's gonna take us on that ride from being that comedic feel good into like, here's your heart and let me rip it out your chest. You know what I mean? Let me take you to that place.
I tell you what, don't forget, yes, the comedy, if done right, works well because it did work well in certain movies. But movies like Guardians, when it was the first time we saw it, okay, it was. Thunder, Love and Blunder, that hideous Thor movie, was what happens when you try to do too much ha-has and not enough good writing, and it completely just, that movie was tanked. It was just absolute shite, right? So let's talk about the Thunderbolts movie. Okay, so that's our next topic. So we're talking about the new trailer they dropped, whether you saw it or not, dropped during the Super Bowl. I watched it before we jumped on live because I had to see this. First thing I got to say, I hate it. It sends a tingle up my bunghole when they use the wrong music, that trailer music. I hate it. What the trailer music threw it off for me for some odd reason. That Jefferson Starship, or where the hell that shitty song that they use. I hate that. I don't care what version it is. It just made me go, I don't want to watch this trailer.
And
You
I
know,
thought
I'll
that
put my
was so intriguing in the trailer for me.
Me too.
why? It's fucking stupid.
too.
It's ridiculous.
Which did also. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
But it-
All right, what do we think? What are we thinking about the trailer?
So this, I'm going to jump in just because I wanted to say it about, as what they were saying before, with the comedy and whatever. With this cast of characters coming together, there is no way to do that aspect of it at the beginning of their introduction to each other and forming as a team without there being some comedic intertwining of these completely unconnected characters who are all kind of the outsiders of wherever they came from.
Otherwise, you just have Jason Bourne meeting Jason Bourne 5 times.
Exactly.
Well,
You
it
have
is
to
kind of
have
like
that.
that because they're all Captain America and Jason. Every one of these characters is one of those. There's another Captain America, but I get it.
I
My
mean, the White Widow and what, like, there's, yes, they are connected to a degree, but they're not. They have no real Taskmaster and Ghost. Like, they don't fit in this. They don't know each other. It's just you're throwing these people who are the outcasts of their things together. You have to have something there to tie it in, and that comedy is going to do it. That trailer, like, I'd seen the other trailers. I was interested in the movie. That trailer, the one they released from the Super Bowl, that music, I immediately was like, that's awesome. And it just flowed for me, unlike you. I got really, really excited for it. And as a Captain America fan, I'm much more excited for what this film can be than I am about Captain America, because I have a sense of what that's going to be already.
Maybe because I just hate. Maybe just because I just fucking hate that song. Maybe that's what it is. Actually,
But did you
It's a song
catch
about
the
love
flow?
and
Did you catch the flow? How the trailer opens up with feel good, and by the time you get to the end of the trailer, you don't feel good. Like, you feel like something really, really bad is going to happen.
all
You know what I
hope.
mean?
You've lost all hope and given up as to
Yeah.
what the outcome of this can be.
All right. So,
Really, I think it flowed really well, and I'm a lot more excited about what this movie can be after that trailer than I was prior. And I was going to see it before that, but I am much more interested in it now.
You
Fable,
mean to tell me
what
you
do
didn't like Mannequin?
I love Mannequin.
I'm
first.
talking to Caesar. Because
Oh.
I'm waiting to press the unfriend button.
I when I first saw Mannequin, I liked it. No, I liked
We're
it.
not talking about the second one, the first one.
I'm talking about the song when it first came out. It was you don't know what to expect. Listen, the movie fucking sucks. All right.
Put yourself on the bottom.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, the movie was okay. The song just blows. Fable, what do you think about the what do you think about the trailer? What are you thinking?
I mean, I was always more excited about this one than Captain America, to be honest, even from before. Just the premise of what this Thunderbolts is supposed to be. And I think they're going to kind of give us that, maybe, because remember, the Thunderbolts are a team of villains that masquerade as good guys. And then when it's time to be bad again, they don't want to be bad anymore. They want to stay good guys. And one of the things that tips that away for me is the asterisks. I don't know if you noticed that, but they point that out, especially in this trailer. A little asterisk just comes right after the Thunderbolts thing. But yeah, this trailer got me more excited. And it's Steve Ewan, right? That's supposed to be who's do we know who's
No.
playing
No.
I'm mad that it's not Asian
No.
century.
Steven
Oh
Yeun? Yeah.
man.
I want
Yeah,
it.
that would have been awesome if that was
He
Steve Ewan.
he jumped.
actually-
He dropped out a while back.
I'm actually-
But yeah, I gotta agree with Ish. Them going against an unstoppable force like the Sentry, and having to like, I mean, it might be another Suicide Squad kind of deal. You know what I mean? Where they you like you said, you fall in love with them, and then you just watch them get picked off one by one, and if done right, that is very powerful. So yeah, I'm excited for the Thunderbolts, even more so than Captain America.
All right, Dan.
Like I said, I'm excited for the Thunderbolts. I think the cast is amazing. I mean, I love Sebastian Stan. I love Florence Pugh. I love, Russell. I mean, all these guys. The only concern I have about it is the director. He's a wild card, right? I don't even know much of what Jake Schreier has even done, if anything. But that could go one of two ways. It could be an absolute disaster. But you look at a seasoned director like Taika Waititi, and he destroyed the Thor franchise. So I'm not big on that guy.
Yeah,
Or
And
you
we
look-
liked Taika. He was
and
good.
I mean, I like Taika, but I mean, he just destroyed Thor. Or you can look at this guy and go, well, this could really be a place where he stamps his name, and he might want to go all out for this and make it amazing. So I'm not going to judge it for that. I'm just concerned. That's my biggest concern. I think the characters are there. I think the story is there. I think another wild card is people don't have a high expectation for it. Like Captain America is Captain America, so we're high on it. We're like, oh my gosh, this has got to come out on all cylinders. Thunderbolts, nobody really has a big expectation for it. That trailer made us hyped, so we're going to go in, and if we leave like that movie was 60% good, we're going to be happy with it. I'm curious to see what the director does.
Marvel has a
excited.
way of digging into their grab bag and pulling out movies that no one is asking for and making them watchable, worthy
100%.
movies, i.e. Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Like these are
Shang-Chi,
movies
awesome. Yeah, 100%.
no one's asking for. No one ever asked for Guardians of the Galaxy. No one read a Guardians of the Galaxy book before they put the movie out. It's just the truth.
Yeah,
right?
but Ish, look who directed Guardians. Look who directed Shang-Chi. I mean, like,
Yeah, but what was James Gunn prior? I don't know because I was not a big, but I'm just not a big James.
Yeah.
How about hold on?
But
Here's
hold
the
on, I just want
perfect
to say really quick. I just want to just let everyone know really quick who this villain, hero, who Sentry is, just so people. Sentry is a character in Marvel who has 3 personalities. He has this normal human personality, which is pretty mentally messed up because they have always kept him locked up or hidden away. They try to erase his memory of who he is and then just so they don't kill him. They generally try to just wipe his memory of who he is and the world's memory and keep him locked away because he can become the Sentry, who has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns, which just means he's undescribably powerful.
he's like Marvel Superman.
He has his third personality is the Void, who is the most evil version of, and he has the power of 1,000,000 black holes. He's the opposite power of the Sentry, and he's evil. And he generally, so the reason why they keep him with his memory wiped and locked away is because he becomes the Void more often than he becomes the Sentry throughout history. By the way, and just give you some little Easter eggs, his closest friend in the superhero community is the Hulk.
All right, so let's go ahead.
Just
Murph.
wanted to jump on this director thing. Jon Favreau had done Swingers. That's it. Before he did a little movie called Iron Man that sent the MCU into existence. It doesn't matter if he's a new director or whatever. If Kevin Feige saw something in this guy and said, you know what? I'm going to let you take this and run with it. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. When most of the things we don't like or we have issues with that have been done by directors that we've known more of their stuff and had more expectation from.
Taika Waititi.
And did you guys?
I might not hate his stuff as much as other people do. I don't think Love and Thunder was as bad as Iron Man 2. But
man,
it wasn't as bad as Iron Man 2, but it was bad.
I didn't say it wasn't bad.
mean
I,
Iron
I
Man
would
2
rather
or 3?
I would rather watch Iron Man 2. I would
Iron Man
rather
2 was great.
I would rather watch Whiplash than
Nah,
whatever
I
that
don't.
that
I couldn't watch another Iron Man movie after Part 1. Anything else in that franchise? I don't even.
I'm not gonna lie. Number 3, Blue Donkey. You know
3
what?
was better than 2 by far.
3 is underrated.
Love and Thunder was better than Thor 2.
Wait, we're just to make sure we're on the same page. Iron Man 2 with Mickey Rourke, Iron Man 2.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
one.
You think that's a
what
bad
Iron
movie?
Man? We not talking about the
terrible
sequel
movie.
to Queen's song.
Really?
I mean, to
Terrible.
Ozzy Osbourne's Iron Man. We
Oh, I
we
thought it
actually
was
talking.
great.
Yeah,
I didn't mind.
Love and Thunder? Oh, come.
I'll
That's what I'm
take Love and Thunder over that.
saying.
Iron
Wow,
Man 2
really?
over Thor 2.
Wholeheartedly.
Wow.
Some of you guys, whatever you're smoking, don't pass it over here.
Thor
I'll tell
has
you that
3
right
bad
now.
movies in one good movie.
Did you guys enjoy Werewolf by Night?
I did.
Oh yeah.
Werewolf by Night is from a music guy. The guy who did the music for the Batman. He's the director of that. So
There you go.
just to Dorf's point about directors in the MCU. Yeah, if somebody is doing something exceptional, I think Kevin Feige has the eye for it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's play the spec game, people. I did this with Captain America. At the end of, we're sitting there in the movie theater and we're waiting for the post-credit scenes. What do you think they're going to tease? What do you think they're going to drop at the end of Thunderbolts? Let's go with you, Dan. What are you thinking?
At the end of Thunderbolts or at the end of Cap?
Thunderbolts.
I think we're going to see, and this might be a big plot line, but I think we're going to see the beginning of Secret War and some of the heroes disappearing, like going off to Battle World.
All right. Fable, what are you thinking?
I think I'm with Dan on this one. I think you see something like that, right? Like some people turning into shadows at the beginning of this movie. I don't know what that meant. I don't know if that's what the Century could do, but I think Secret Wars is definitely getting set up. And maybe you see Steve Rogers again. Who knows? Maybe he's a Hydra Captain America in this one. I don't know. I don't know what to expect for Thunderbolts. Honestly, this is the one that I have no idea what they're gonna do. To be honest, and I like that.
I was gonna say this is one of the rare ones where you don't know what to expect, right? So yeah, I feel you. Dorf, what do you think?
So for me, I didn't think necessarily that Steve Rogers or Hydra was going to be the Captain America spec, whatever. I feel like that's more likely to be some kind of X-Men tease of what's to come there. And that Thunderbolts is where you'll get something Secret Wars, Steve Rogers kind of thing at the end of that. Because I just feel like that helps lead this into what's coming a lot more. Plus the connecting, as we all said, they're all kind of sideways sort of Captain America connecting pieces, as opposed to it's a Captain America movie. Look, there's Steve Rogers. I feel like it's gives a little bit more of that twist surprise thing if it happens there than in.
And Ish, what are you thinking?
So I don't want to disagree with Dorf. I don't want to make this about disagreeing with Dorf, but I just think that it depends on.
By that he means I want to disagree with Dorf.
It depends on, honestly, right? Is Sentry a one and done character? Because if he's not, or even if he is, right, do you follow up an Easter egg of having to fight the Sentry with something then as small as Captain America Hydra? Or do you give Robert Downey Jr. Dr. Doom? Going into Battle World, going into Secret War, going into Fantastic Four as your follow-up movie. You know what I mean? Do you give us a glimpse of Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom as an Easter egg? I think, someone with the power of the century, right, would be the catalyst for Dr. Doom becoming God Emperor, right? Like he's the king of taking people's powers. Like that's what he does. You know what I mean? Like that's what he's doing in Marvel right now. Like that's what he does. If you have godlike power, I'm coming for it. I'm going to make a device. I'm taking the power. And maybe Century's power is what leads him on the pathway to to becoming this God Emperor Doom, and maybe we see that, or something similar to that as an Easter egg at the end, or in scene.
So just like you said, Ish, that this Cap movie is ending Phase 5, right?
Mhm.
That's the end of Phase 5. So, Brother Joe, I think they're done with that whole timeline they put out years ago.
Well, so the timeline they've edited since they originally put that out. Some films have been canceled, some have been delayed, but everything that is coming out was on that timeline. Everything that's officially announced. I mean, Fantastic Four was added to the timeline once everything was brought over from its previous home, but everything else was on that timeline anyway. Fantastic Four jumped some of that timeline once it became a part of the MCU and was able to. But they are still working on that timeline. Some projects have been scrapped, but for the most part, they're still on that timeline. Maybe like Kang Dynasty was clearly what it was originally supposed to be. So they altered what the Avengers movies were going to be based on that timeline, but it's still following for the most part what they had put out.
And I also want to add that we have seen, just to speak to something Adorf said, we have seen X-Men integrated into the current the current mythos, and I'm not talking through Deadpool, right? Like the Marvel's Easter egg at the end left a 616 character in, you know what I mean, in X-Men universe, which may not necessarily be the Fox universe, but just an X-Men alternate universe.
Didn't they also throw in Beast and Krakoa or in the end of Marvels?
They threw in X-Men 93 Beast.
No, I don't listen to you.
The new MCU mutants first, I think, came upon with Miss Marvel, didn't it? Like they figured she was a mutant.
Well, it's arguable. I think they made her. They actually no. We saw that they actually made it. Miss Marvel's a mutant because she's a mutant in comics. But then you have Scarlet Witch's children, which would be mutants, and then you also have Ursa Major, the Man Bear, in the Black Widow movie, who is a mutant.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and adamantium. That's your biggest clue there too. I mean, why even mention that metal? We all know who's most famous for the adamantium. So it's all the little pieces are there. But you know what? That's why they're doing the multiverse. I think they're trying to take all of these people from all these places because they made Fox Universe canon. It's a multiverse thing now. And they didn't they do that when they had Professor X? From the Fox movie.
Canon.
Yeah, didn't so
here's the thing though, it's debatable, right, that was the Fox universe. We only know that it is because of Deadpool. Right. But Deadpool opened the door for a ton of multiversal X-Men. So we don't even know if that Beast we saw was Fox Beast.
Right.
The only one we do know is that Deadpool was.
Right. Yeah, the cartoon, the X-Men 97 could be its own universe. And they just look like cartoons instead of real people. Like Into the Spider-Verse.
What impressed me is if they do Secret Wars, they acknowledge the Ultimate Universe, which was obviously a major part of Secret War. And do we get a Miles Morales? Obviously, we're probably going to get a Maker Reed Richards. I think that's the reason why they're doing this. So I'm going to give you my spec and my prediction. I think that this whole Fantastic Four film ends with, because clearly they're the heroes.
Hold on. You're jumping ahead because we're going to jump into the OFF thing. Who's making the most money? We're not talking FF yet. Who's going to bring in the first box, the first night? Who's going to rake it in? Cap or Thunderbolts?
Both.
Cap.
Both.
No, one's going to beat the other.
No, I think Thunderbolts
it's not fair then. Thunderbolts will.
I'll tell you why I think it's Thunderbolts. I'll tell you why I think it's Thunderbolts, and it has less to do with Marvel and more to do about economic timing. I think right now a lot of shit is contracting. Like you see, I'm watching live sales, people buying stuff, groceries are expensive. I think it's going to be after tax time. People are going to have their money. More people are going to go spend it at the theater in May than they are in February on opening, if you're talking box office. I'm thinking just financial timing.
All right, Dan made logical points.
I think everybody is going to the movies Friday because they haven't seen a good Marvel movie in a
That's
long
yeah.
time.
And that's the
Marvel
and
movie
there it is. I think that's what's going to happen because everybody's kind of been itching. And let's be honest. They have been teasing and they have been bombarding us with the Red Hulk and Harrison Ford and all that stuff. It's getting people like cool because I haven't gone to the movie since Deadpool, which was when November or I don't even know.
Summertime, man.
Oh my God, was it summertime?
Mhm.
So people are itching. Where a while there, it felt like they were making a Marvel movie every 3 months. So
That's the plus, right? So the plus is we haven't had a Marvel movie every 3 months in a long time
mhm.
of these caliber,
Because we
right?
were
Like,
getting fatigued. We were getting fatigued. Let's be
and
honest.
but when we had good ones, every one successively just had a dope box office.
Mhm.
We're getting Fantastic Four. Everyone's going to show up for that.
Oh yeah.
They're showing up. No
Oh,
matter
yeah.
how
And
much
it
you
and
hate
it's
on it,
and
everyone's
it's
showing up.
Valentine's Day, man. It's a date movie, man. I think people are gonna be taking their sweethearts to go see Captain
I
America.
took my wife to see Captain America. I'd be sleeping on the couch till Thunderbolt.
Yeah, imagine Happy Valentine's Day. Are we going to a nice dinner? Yes, it's called AMC. Yeah, it's fantastic. You're gonna have popcorn and hot
Popcorn.
dogs and some nasty ass nachos, nasty ass. Then you get a bag of
Red
chips
vine.
and
Some red
and
vine.
some red vines.
And the
But
red vine.
I'm
I
gonna
love
cut
you.
it to look like a rose. That's what I'm gonna make it look like a flower and all that shit. Listen,
I already got my tickets
you're
for
right.
Thursday night, like I told you, and we're already planning what night what the other night of the opening weekend that I'm going to see it the second time.
You're gonna see.
What do you mean? So you're gonna go watch it twice?
At least, but twice in the opening weekend.
Why would you go watch it twice if you don't even? What if you're looking at the first one and go, "This thing's fucking horrible"?
Well, then the person from my family who wants to see it that isn't going with us because they're staying with my younger daughter is not going to get to see it.
All right. Well, then that's just the way it is. All right. So I've waited long enough because we've spoken 1 hour. We filled in 2 movies in 1 hour. I waited for Fantastic Four because I know for a fucking fact we're gonna rant for the next hour.
No,
Fantastic Four.
Terribly
I-
bad. Terribly, 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 terribly bad.
Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. FF. Now, we finally were waiting to see the trailer. They dropped the trailer. I'm cool. I'm all good for period pieces. I love the fact that it's the 1950s, late 50s, 60s. You know, we're getting there, early 60s, and I'm okay with the cast. And then they show the helmet, the famous helmet, and that scene drove people off the cliff. Why? Because he's the planet eater. He's Galactus. He's the size of. There's no possible way. Then they put those statues. Well, this is the Statue of Liberties, and this is the. Come on, man! Did that not realize that Galactus has the ability to transform in sizes and all that? I don't understand, and I don't even read. You know, that's the funny thing. I even know that, and I don't even read. So let's. Okay, I'm gonna start with you, Ish, because I know you probably have a lot to say about this. But I want to go around with, is it a yay or a nay on the trailer? So let's start with you.
So it's tough, right? People aren't nay for me, but not a hard nay, right? As in, I think the movie's going to be good. I'm on board for it. I didn't. The reason why it's nay is because it was narrated by a Sue Storm that I do not believe. That's the one casting that I just don't believe. When I saw her, I'm like, she didn't pull it off for me, and especially because I see your roots. So you're not a natural blonde, which is, I guess, something that's like I see that you're not. You know what I mean?
This,
like
this guy. Everyone's bitching about Galactus. Everyone's bitching about Galactus, and it's just talking about the roots and Storm's hair.
I know it's a stupid. It's a
really. You just turned this into Project Runway.
No,
she wore brown shoes and a blue blazer. How tacky!
It's a dumb gripe. But because Sue Storm is one of the strongest female characters, and I hate to even put it out like a male-female thing in Marvel, like really a big, major, recognizable character, I don't believe her as Sue Storm. And then they used her to narrate the trailer, and it just didn't sell me because I don't believe her. Like, I just didn't believe her as Sue Storm at all. She did not convince me that you're Sue Storm. And that was, I know people have a problem with the Thing casting and or the way the Thing looks, not the casting. The way the Thing looks, people are comparing it to the old school Thing and not saying it doesn't look much different than old school Thing and, tripping over that or what have you. And I think that the movie's going to be successful. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great period piece, the whole nine. On the trailer by itself, on the strength of the I'm only speaking on the strength of the trailer. I just wasn't sold on Sue Storm, and they used her to narrate it. As soon as I saw her, I'm like, oh, well, okay, I'm not impressed. And then you narrated it, and I was even less impressed.
Who would you rather have? Who did you see in your mind to place?
I didn't see
I know
anyone.
we're a little off
I
topic.
didn't see anyone, but Marvel is so used to. I'm so used to Marvel convincing me that these people are the character by their casting. Like, Marvel is really good at casting characters, and I'm convinced, like, oh, you're this character, or you're this character, you're this character. As soon as I saw Sue, I was like, huh.
Okay.
It just didn't do it for me.
So you're out on the trailer.
On the trailer, not on the film. I think the film is
not the film. Okay. Because like I said, I want to get your overall topics the exact same way Ish did it. Fable, you're nodding your head. Let's go. What are you thinking?
I'm sold. But let's be honest here. I was going to watch it regardless. It's the Fantastic Four. I like all the Jack Kirby pulls. That's what got me all in. And it's funny, Ish, you said that about Sue Storm. I thought you would have said something about Pedro Pascal as Mr. Fantastic. But
I probably would have had he narrated and talked as much. Sue was so prominent that it was like.
But yeah, I love the 60s aesthetic. I loved seeing the Marvel one, the rocket that took them up. I love seeing the Fantastic car looking like a cool ass James Bond roadster. I love seeing Ben Grimm. I think he is an absolute rip off of the comic page. Way more than any previous Ben Grimm that's ever been. There's been like 3 or 4 of them. He totally washes them with just a few seconds of screen time. Especially when he's walking down Yancey Street with the hat.
With the hat and the coat.
Oh my God. Jack Kirby would have been shedding a tear.
Not too much CGI there? You're not thinking he's a little too?
I mean, they've been preparing us for that with that rock guy from Love and Thunder. It's kind of like the thing. So I think they could only improve from there.
Korg.
Yeah. Right. What else, man? I basically love seeing everything. I love the homage at the end with the Beatles. I don't know if you caught that, where they're on the Ed Sullivan stage, and that's just like the Beatles in '64. I think that was freaking phenomenal. The only thing that left me hanging, which is good to leave me hanging, is how does Reed look when he uses his powers? We saw Johnny, flame on. We saw Sue disappearing or forming her little invisible shield. We saw Ben Grimm.
But we did not see him because
what's gonna happen there? And that, I mean, the trailer is a go. The movie, I think, hinges on a lot of that. So maybe they're still working on it. Maybe they want to perfect it. Who knows? They got a few months to work on it. But no, I'm sold. I'm sold. I like. Oh, and Herbie looked fantastic. I love him. He looks great. Right out of the cartoon. So yeah, no, it got me.
All right, Dan.
I agree with Fable on the thing. Eben, what is it? Eben Moss Backrack, is that his name? They made him look like the Kirby type of thing. I mean, it looked great. I'm excited about that. I think I understand Ish's concern with Vanessa Kirby. The problem with being the only woman in a quad team like that is you really gotta stick it. You gotta sell that character, because we already know Pedro Pascal from Mandalorian, from The Last of Us, he's got range for days. I mean, he could do anything at this point and be good. So unfortunately or fortunately, Vanessa Kirby, is gonna rise to the occasion or not. We're gonna find out. But I'm excited. She is a total smoke show, though. I mean, like, let's be real. That's not going to be anything hard on the eyes. It's going to be great to look at. I don't think we're going to have a lot of Robert Downey Jr. till the end. I think that sucks. I would love to see more of him. I don't think we're going to have a lot of Doom in there. And I did make a post when the trailer came out. I understand a lot of people were coming back at me and saying, well, I made a comment about the perspective of when they showed like the Galactus looking down at the Statue of Liberty. And I'm like, it looks like Macy's Day Parade floatish like look to me. And they're like, and I'm like, for a world devouring being like Galactus, that looks weird to me. And they're like, oh, he can shrink. I'm like, no, I get that. I understand he can shrink. And
You're talking about perspective.
It's just, it was a weird perspective. Like, it didn't look like, I don't know what I expected. It just kind of looked weird to me, enough to make me kind of think about it for a minute. But I'm excited about it. I really am. I think it's going to be good. I like the way they put it in a retro, like a retro futuristic type of world where you can do things differently than you would if you try to put it in like New York in 2025. I think you'd have to like stick to certain plot lines and things, and it would make it harder to kind of believe. I like where they're putting this film. It makes more possibilities, makes it more maybe believable for the team. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I really am. And I think like if we're talking about opening day box office,
that's going to blow them both.
It's
blow
going to
both.
blow them both out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Dorf.
So I want to just touch on the whole actor thing. Quick reminder that both Michael Keaton and Chris Evans, when they were announced as Captain America and Batman, people were not for that. What? The guy who played Johnny Storm, he can't be Captain America. He doesn't. Those characters and those actors crushed those characters. Everyone thought that Keaton was great as Batman. They thought that Chris Evans was Captain America. So until you've seen the movie-ish, I'm just going to say leave the doubt. It could theoretically.
I don't think your comparison is fair because I watched the trailer. And when I watched the trailer for Michael Keaton, I thought he was Batman. And when I saw Chris Evans as Captain America, I thought he was Captain America. I don't care what other people said. It's what I experienced. And what I experienced was I wasn't convinced by her.
The trailers for Batman back in the day didn't have a whole lot to see. I don't know if you remember, like the trailer for Batman.
I remember. It was 1989. I went to see the movie 3 times.
Yes,
getting ready to go to high school.
But the trailer for the movie wasn't a whole lot of giving away. You're seeing Michael Keaton as Batman.
You saw Michael Keaton as Batman.
You saw him
in
the
just
suit.
Didn't see Michael Keaton. You saw Michael Keaton as Batman.
The guy's got a cowl on. You can't see. Like that's all right.
But that's the point.
That part aside.
What you're trying to say is Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, because he was Batman. Like he had the cowl on, and we was convinced.
I'm sorry. Anyone with the Val Kilmer with the cowl on looked like Batman,
but he didn't. Neither did Clooney.
With the cowl on, Val Kilmer looked like Batman.
I mean, I guess to each their own.
But it didn't matter. He wasn't Batman. Anyhow, and I love Val Kilmer. That's beside the point. The thing that I can't stand about what's been going on with this trailer is everyone trying to find something to hate. That's the issue that I have.
But they do that in all the trailers.
I agree with you.
No, but true. This one, I mean, I've seen people flipping out because the perspective of when the 4 of them are standing on that platform, if you actually look at their feet, the Thing and Johnny are back further than the others, and they're all bitching because Sue is taller than Thing. It's like, find something to be angry with. I'm sorry, that Thing, as you guys all said, is the most comic accurate original Kirby thing.
Until you said it, Fable, I got to be honest. I looked back behind me. I'm like, fuck, you're right. I didn't think about it, but that looks like his face.
If you want to have an issue with
have we seen an inaccurate comic thing in film?
Yeah, I mean, the first one, the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, that was pretty bad.
That was scary.
I think.
Right. That was weird.
The Michael B. Jordan Fantastic Four iteration was.
I didn't see. I saw what it looks like, but that movie sucked.
Oh, it was so bad. Anyhow,
you're right, though, Dorf. Your point is right.
It is.
That's what I hate. And Dan, not knocking what you said. For you, it's the perspective of why is he in that position, but everyone else took it as the perspective of why is he that size? He's way too close to the size of everything else. Like, it's just trying to find something to hate.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it got me super excited, like, oh, I can't wait for this. But because of the Fantastic Fours that we've had before, especially the most recent one, there was definite skepticism on my part. But again, I have faith in Marvel. I like Pascal. I think he's great. I really like the actor who's playing Thor. Thor Thing. I loved him when he was in The Punisher with a Russian accent, and he was phenomenal in the Punisher show. And Caesar doesn't remember it at all. He was the sidekick in the Punisher series.
Oh,
The Russian guy. Whatever. He was there.
there was a Russian guy in the sidekick of Punisher, the John Bernthal show?
For the entire series.
Fuck.
It's okay. Rewatch it. It's still there. And then he's great in The Bear, if you watch that on Hulu. The only issue I have, if I'm going to pick anything, is that he doesn't talk like I hear Thing talk. Like, he doesn't have the voice and accent that, which he's capable of, but it's just not the direction they went with it. But again, that's the type of thing where, fine, as long as everything he portrays, the character is portrayed the right way, the accent is, and the voice, it doesn't need to be exactly what I always hear in my mind.
Did you guys read the part where people are saying the part where Storm flames on and he jumps over the balcony and you see the lens flare and fingerprint smudges? And from what I understand, it is the view of the TVA watching what's going on, and that's the TV screen. And I'm like, all right, you, and I'm thinking, well, that's sure. Is the TVA going to be in this? I think the TVA is going to be in everything now. That they're watching. That's the cat's out of the bag, man. The TVA exists and it's a thing. But are they going to be prevalent in this movie? I'm going to say no. So what I want to know is, how long is Galactus going to be on screen? That's what I want to know. Is he going to be prevalent? Is he going to be just a thing and whatever, and then that's all we're going to see? Is he going to? They're going to make him the size of worlds? What do you guys think is Galactus's role in this film? Is it going to be small? Is he going to be the bigger? I mean, what's going on?
I think it. Sorry, I'm jumping in first. I think it has to be small. I think Marvel would do the most tremendous disservice to itself if they took a character like Galactus and had him be this one-off small Fantastic Four movie role, and then that's it. You have to have Galactus be more than one appearance in film. He has to be something that's ongoing. Red Skull we got in one, and he's the biggest villain you have for Captain America historically. He was really only in one until all of a sudden his ghost was there. You can't do that with something like Galactus, especially everyone's bitching about what Silver Surfer you're going to have and whatever else. Silver Surfer is going to be there, and Silver Surfer is there because of Galactus. But it has to be something small to bring to something bigger that will be.
All right. What about you, Dan? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking, I don't think the Fantastic Four, I mean, this is so weird. I don't think the Fantastic Four are going to outright beat Galactus. I think it's going to be set up, again, more parlaying into Secret Wars, and they're going to, again, get shoved off the battle world. I think something like that's going to happen. We're in the crescendo of the battle, right? When tensions are at their highest and everything looks like it's really all lost, all of a sudden something happens, because at some point they've got to do a hard right into Secret Wars. I mean, they've got to do something, right? And I think what's going to end up happening is, and again, this is all just my opinion, I have no insider knowledge, but I think they're going to set the stage for Secret Wars and Battle World. And I think somewhere in Fantastic Four, whether it's like a post-credit scene or something, they're going to introduce Young Avengers, because some group has to stay back on Earth to defend Earth when the heroes are all gone away. So I think that's probably also going to be a time where we're going to see a Young Avengers team or something begin to something happen with Young Avengers. But I don't expect the Fantastic Four to necessarily beat Galactus. I think they're all going to get shuffled off to some other world somewhere, potentially.
All right, Fable.
Oh yeah, I gotta agree. I think Galactus is gonna play a small role. Um, I think that Shalabal, Norin Rad, or whoever is gonna be the Silver Surfer, I think the Silver Surfer is gonna play a more prominent role. And I think they're saving that for a future trailer because that's the other thing we didn't see besides Reed using his elasticity is the Silver Surfer. I think. Um, but I think I mean, my God, there's just so many ways you can go with this, right? Like, because Galactus really did they ever fight him in those early Kirby books? I forget, but like, isn't it like they just trying to convince him not to eat Earth, not to,
So
And he's like,
they're just gonna have a big conversation. That's gonna
and
be the
he's
big
like,
battle.
my
Oh,
my
okay.
herald, convinced me I'm out of here for now, kind of thing. Because I agree that with Dan that he's a big bad that you just can't one and done him, man.
Yeah.
You got to keep him around. He's a celestial being. Like he has to mean more than just an appearance. But I think he will ultimately be just an appearance. I'm just glad he's not a cloud, guys. Remember
Oh,
the
I know.
Galactus we got was a cloud.
Yeah,
Let's
we're
be
gonna.
happy. People bitching about perspective. He was a cloud.
Because it costs money.
We have a win. Yeah, it costs money. Ish, what are you thinking?
So I don't think Galactus sticks around. I think it's first of all, I think everything about this is a tribute to Kirby. So I think the size of Galactus doesn't have to be this. So the largest thing that we've seen so far was an actual celestial at the end of Eternals, right? And this
Right.
thing was like on a universal scale, which Galactus can be. But if we're tributing and we're homaging Kirby, which is clearly what they're doing, and as much as they can, we're going to see a sizable Galactus that the Fantastic Four can fight because there's some dope homage covers showing exactly that, right? Like actually showing that. And I think we'll get a recreation of that. I think if we understand Marvel continuity, right? Marvel, the reason why they set this movie in the 50s and 60s is for a reason. Because when Marvel retconned their timeline and they did what was called the time slide, they said that the very first event that happened on Earth was a Fantastic Four fighting Galactus. And then everything else happened after that. So the first major event involving superheroes on Earth outside of Captain America prior to World War II that they recognized and they sanctioned was Fantastic Four fighting Galactus. When Marvel did its 25th anniversary, it wasn't Marvel's 25 years in existence. It was 25 years since the debut of Fantastic Four. So when we look at this movie, when Marvel looks at Galactus, they look at Galactus as no one ever beats Galactus. He doesn't get beaten because he's essential to the universe. So it's not like we can just keep bringing this character back to not be beaten. He's going to eat planets. It's necessary. Has to happen, right? He's going to devour. This is a part of the flow of how the universe works. The universe doesn't work if Galactus isn't eating planets, right? So when the Fantastic Four fought him, they didn't beat him, right? They used an ultimate plot device called the Ultimate Nullifier. And they kind of threatened him, right? They literally created a plot device called the Ultimate Nullifier to kind of threaten him away, right? To actually kind of threaten him away. So what I think happens is, to be honest with you, I think Galactus is a smaller portion, definitely not this major Marvel being any more than Dormammu, who's the most powerful thing we've seen and we haven't seen again, right? Like he's literally the most powerful thing the Marvel universe has introduced to date, with the exception of a Celestial, and we haven't even seen him again. And we're probably not going to see him again because how do you beat this thing? You know what I mean? So what I think happens is what they're suggesting, right? The goal is to get Fantastic Four out of this particular universe because remember what Secret Wars is. The TVA stuff, Loki has set it up perfectly. Secret Wars is a war between timelines crashing in on each other. Realities crashing in and destroying each other. That's what the secret war is. And that's what we're getting. Fantastic Four is in one reality. We've got the X-Men reality introduced, Deadpool's reality introduced with the TVA, the Marvel 616 reality, probably another reality introduced in Thunderbolts. These realities are going to start to converge on each other. I do think we see Doom in this timeline. I do think that the Fantastic Four don't make it.
Well, see, that brings me to this point. So I actually thought about this over the weekend, and Peter actually brought it up. So it does take place in the 60s. So how would that tie into the MCU?
Doesn't Galactus, I mean, he devours worlds for fuel to create like new universes. Isn't that the purpose of Galactus? I mean, he needs to devour worlds, and he devours them for the cosmic energy used to create new universes.
Not new universes, new worlds.
I think it's universes. I think he creates new universes.
It could be.
But neither here nor there. I mean, let's say world, universe, whatever you have, but is it in the realm of possibility that the movie has the 60s world get devoured, the Fantastic Four make it off to the battle world, and all of this now, because didn't Marvel say they want to kind of get rid of the whole multiverse thing now and get it back to one universe? Wasn't that?
Well, that's where I was going, because if you look at it, right, this Fantastic Four clearly is not an origin story.
Yeah.
The trailer sets them up with people wearing masks, and they have the Fantastic Car. They already exist as the heroes in this world, right? They're there. Everything about the trailer says, I mean, the kids are watching with thing masks. Like, they exist in this world as heroes already. We already seen 3 attempts at an origin story. Disney ain't trying to do that anymore. Like, that's all right.
They already do exist.
Do a quick recap or something, but in this world, they exist. They're established as the heroes of this world. The trailer seems to indicate that. Especially the part where he's like, you didn't have invisibility until we went to space. Mm-hmm. Johnny wasn't able to bust into flames until we went to space. So they already cut through the chase, because let's be honest, we all know how the fuck they got their powers. All right, already. Right? It's like making a Spider-Man movie. We already know how he got his. We don't need another origin story. Or Batman. We know the lore. And so let's just keep in mind the red herring here is the major villain that comes out of Secret War. While we get God Emperor Doom, is the Maker. Otherwise known as
Beyonder.
You're reading my
Isn't it the Beyonder, or is it the Maker?
It is the Beyonder, yeah.
But the major villain that comes ultimately out of this is the Maker. It's Reed Richards.
Yeah.
If we remember how Secret Wars plays out, right? Dr. Doom becomes God Emperor Doom. Doctor Strange is his sheriff or his right-hand man. Black Panther ends up wielding an Infinity Gauntlet. Like, all kind of, if comic-wise, who says we don't know if this is going to happen in the movies? Probably not.
Probably not.
Some threads of that we're probably going to see, because it's going to take an Infinity Gauntlet to beat God Emperor Doom.
What is going to be the post-end credits? Doom?
I don't know. I think, well,
Doom will be in a movie.
No, I know, but at the end of Fantastic Four, everyone wants to see what's going to.
There's already been a spoiler out there that Doom is going to be one of the post-credit scenes.
Well, there you
go. My theory regarding them is that I don't know. See, I don't know what universe they're in. They may be in the 60s, but they could be in the 60s of any Marvel universe, right? Like, is this the 616? Because the MCU is not the 616. No,
it is the 616.
No, it's the 616,000 or something like that. 16, the Captain America, all those movies we've been watching, that is not the 616.
But they refer to itself inside the MCU as the 616. Like, they've called themselves the 616. But I understand what you're saying. It's like 616U or something like that.
You brought up a good villain, Dormammu. I'm thinking they get into the negative zone somehow, and maybe appear in a more present day, and maybe Galactus is back, and maybe that brings Dr. Doom, because Dr. Doom's whole thing, you said it before, is to get all major power. What's more powerful than Galactus or Silver Surfer with the power cosmic and stuff like that? I think some of that all ties in, as well as the Maker, and they're not going to copy the comic books exactly. They want to
They
keep
never
it
do.
all guessing. You know what I mean? But they're going to take elements. So I think all the things you mentioned, I think somehow are going to come into play, as well as the TVA, because the TVA is a Fantastic Four thing. They made their appearance in the Fantastic Four. So,
But they're
I,
all over Thor as well.
yeah, my guess for end credit scene for me, just personally, I love Sue to tell Reed that she's pregnant with Franklin, which is the biggest one of the biggest powerful beings. You know what I mean? That could be.
Well, the most powerful being.
Yeah. So there you go. That's my guess.
What's his name again in the
Franklin Richards.
comics? No, but doesn't he have an altar?
Powerhouse.
Now that Fable, I could see. Like all of a sudden they show like this is 1960s, so who knows? But who knows? She shows some kind of indication that she's pregnant, right? And it's like, great, here we go. So are they going to go that route? What about you, Dan or Dorf? What do you guys think might be the something?
Dorf.
Are you Dorf?
So there's so many different ways that they can go that I agree. I've always felt there was going to be some kind of timeline thing that ends up bringing them into the present. They can't use frozen in a block of ice because Cap did that. But there's going to be some kind of mechanism to bring them into the present. I don't think that this version of Fantastic Four, after everything that's been built up, is going to somehow disappear and they're going to have a different Fantastic Four that'll continue on in the MCU. That can't happen. The MCU is, God willing, for their sake and everyone else's, this is the Fantastic Four from here on out. There's not going to be, another recast, another whatever. That's not the plan. So
right.
There's got to be some type of mechanism, whether it be that, they're brought over, when the end of Secret Wars happens.
But they don't have to recast them. They could just be their own alternates.
Say that again?
They don't have to recast them. They could just be their own alternates.
But again, then you're stuck into how do we find a way to bring them back in to interact with these other characters again in the future, as opposed to...
Well, they have to anyway, because they're like 50 years older than everyone else.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. There's got to... I believe, just like Fable said, there's going to be some kind of mechanism, some way to bring them into present day as is structured. So something that ties into that, whether it be that it's just going to be, them ending up in the Secret Wars thing, and then by the end of that battle and how everything goes down, maybe because we're talking about them getting sucked away, maybe Galactus does eat that world's version of Earth, and he ends up going to a different version. They end up going to a different version of Earth at the end of Secret Wars. There has to, in my opinion, be something like that, because you're not going to one-off lose these characters. You're not going to have them be in a separate universe because you're going to want them to interact with other characters again in the future. So
it's interesting that you're saying that. I just wanted to touch on that because it's interesting, because we've seen the Baxter building already. We've heard in WandaVision, we already know the accident happened. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already know that, at least in our timeline, that accident took place because they mentioned it to Captain Marvel, Spectrum, before she became Spectrum, in the WandaVision television. So it's a very interesting. I think I follow what you're putting down. Anyway, go on.
So yeah, that it's going to be something that brings that in, whether it be a snippet of what comes, or it's some kind of a flash of a different. Something is going to hint to somehow they're being brought to where everything else is. And again, it could be through the Secret Wars. It could be a hint into that. But I feel like there's going to be some kind of reference to they're ending up in what we know as present day, as opposed to where they were.
All I got to say is it's going to be a pretty exciting year, I think, because we're getting...
Did I tell you what my end credit is? I didn't tell you.
Oh, that's right. Oh, shit. That's right. You know what? Go ahead.
Kang.
We're chop liver-ish.
Kang.
Did you say Kang?
Kang, yeah.
Do you think that they dropped this Jonathan Majors, they're going to bring him back, blah, 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 and all of a sudden they're kind of a little leak to say,
nope.
Oh, he's back.
Nope. And the reason why I think they don't do it, one, because it's a holy moment. Two, that's how they hit us with Jonathan Majors the first time around. Nobody saw him coming at the end of Loki. didn't see it. They did everything to say he's not coming, and then we knew he was coming as Kang. We didn't know he was coming at the end of Loki. Nobody knew, and it was like, whoa. And I think that's how they bring him back. I think he ties in and all of my end credits to me just tie into what's going on with the movies and what's essential themes to the movies. And again, with Kang being a relative of both Doom and Reed Richards, of a future relative of both of them, it just makes sense to me that we get him.
Let me just, because of what you just said, Ish, do you guys remember leading up to Wakanda Forever, all the crap about the actress playing Shuri being done, having to be replaced because of this in media and this in social media and this whatever? And of course, it was all
never
bullshit.
happened.
It was all smokescreen,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
What if like this shit happened with Jonathan Majors, legitimately, whatever? But what if all of a sudden it was like he was never really fired? They just found this other whatever, and boom, he's been there the whole time, and it's been filmed, and exactly like Ish is saying, like, holy shit, no one saw this coming. Boom. I just think that would be fucking spectacular.
It would be
the moment of the summer if Jonathan Majors is at the end of Fantastic Four.
But
you know what?
I mean, even more that it just comes out that like he was never really removed. It was just all of a sudden they got this storyline, whatever, for Doom and Downey and whatever. So they had to
Kevin
do
Feige
that.
came out publicly and said it's a Jonathan Majors variant. It's not the real one. Like it's a variant.
Is that what it is? World 619,000 is Fable.
But
You know, it-
the ultimate books now is what's really interesting, because the maker is trying to create the Ultimate Universe again, and the Ultimate Universe was destroyed, and he's trying to get that back. He's trying to recreate it. And Reed Richards, in the current Ultimate thing, he creates a doorway to other dimensions to escape out of. So what if they use that plot device that he creates a sort of doorway that can get them out of their destroyed world, but he regrets what he's done, right? So like,
what if we get the Council of Reeds?
yeah.
See, now you're talking crazy.
You could also have Kang just strike a deal with the Fantastic Four and whatever, and like rip them the fuck out and put them into their present day, and they just didn't see it coming at all. Like
Whatever happens, you have to admit
ways that you could tie that shit in. Especially
However
if
you-
back in.
however you cut it, this is fucking fun.
Right.
Right? This is
Don't you think one of the post-credit scenes? I mean, you know, I think we already know for sure. Again, I don't mean to spoil it, but it's everywhere on the internet now, and if it's on the internet, that's got to be true. But they say that Doom is going to be in the Fantastic Four post-credit. It's going to happen. But I think, I don't know if it's Thunderbolts or if it's Fantastic Four. Somebody's got to have a post-credit scene with the X-Men. I mean, they just can't show up in Avengers Doomsday or Secret Wars. I mean, they've got to come in, right? So, I mean, I don't know that, like, you know, I think, isn't Daredevil Born Again coming between like Captain America and Thunderbolts? I think in March,
Yeah.
Born Again coming, like somewhere else there's going to be another Ironheart show potentially or something like that. Isn't that coming also? So maybe they do it there. I don't know, but somebody's got to introduce some X-Men beyond the Thing. I mean, you know, you got to. I know we had Wolvie Deadpool, but at some point you've got to bring these people into the fold here in some dynamic way. Why not a post-credit scene in like FF? I don't know.
So we talked about it earlier. I think it might have been before you jumped on. That I personally feel that's probably more likely to be at the end of Captain America, because they have hinted at adamantium and other things in the trailers.
But they ain't
Now,
hinted
I
at
don't.
it. They said it straight out.
Right.
Yeah.
But what I mean is, I don't think it's going to be Wolverine who shows up, because I don't think they want to let that cat out of the bag yet, because there's plenty of rumors now that Cavill is signed on to be that and whatever, and there's plenty of people who still want it to just be Hugh. So I don't think we get him, but I definitely feel like they have laid it out there for something to really drop within that to say they're here.
Yeah. I mean, Deadpool, Wolverine set up the fact that, you know, Wesley Snipes' Blade and Gambit and all these people, they could just pop up anywhere. They can jump through some portals, man. It can be pop up in one of these movies. You never know.
Yeah. Well,
They
I'll
will
say
all
it
be
again.
trying to
never
ice
going to
skate
get a
uphill.
Gambit in his X-Men. I'm so glad that they eliminated that process altogether.
I'll say it again. This is going to be an exciting year, and this is very fun for, we're talking about 5 adults here who are talking about what ifs in the upcoming movies. It's fucking ridiculous. What the world we live in. What a time to be a geek, people. We're talking about the speculations
The part
of
you're
what
leaving
we
out
can
about
possibly.
that, Caesar, is up until this phase of Marvel, there's never been this many what ifs or what it could be.
We haven't talked
Because
about this in a while. Yeah.
everything that they'd established at the beginning, you knew, like, this is what's coming next. You had a timeline that was pretty much set in stone. Like,
We
this
knew
is the
we
first.
knew it was Thanos oriented.
This is the
Exactly.
first time
Exactly.
in a long time that we've been able to really, like, we could speculate forever all the different things that we know and love and that could come out of what's coming. So
It
that's, I
is.
mean, that in itself is why this is such an exciting time in the
And
MCU.
you're getting 2 of them in 1 month. Superman with
much.
the whole DC universe.
That's
What's
right.
going to come of that? And Fantastic Four on the Marvel side. So everybody's going to eat in July.
It-
You know what's
Oh, that-
interesting is that
yeah.
we have a universe of characters that exists that love them or hate them. When it all comes together, people are going to appreciate that She-Hulk already exists in the MCU, and like all of these characters that they have established, whether you liked how they were established or not, when all of this comes together and it all begins to play out, and they put all that when a big movie drops, another Civil War or what have you, and you realize how many characters that Marvel has given. Shang-Chi's running around, the Eternals are running around. We have Black Knight is where we have tons of characters now running around that Marvel has put out. Werewolf by Night, Man Thing. Like, we have tons of characters out there.
I want to see Star Fox for more than 5 seconds.
Star Fox.
Star
Right.
Fox. You just brought up something. I know we're running. As a matter of fact, we're top of the hour. Let me very quick lightning round. In the style of Werewolf by Night, which is just a one shot. Which one shot of a character you would love for Disney Plus to do in the style of just that one and done with like Werewolf by Night? Obviously, Werewolf by Night was cool because I like the black and white. I never did see the color version of it. Someone says you should because it kind of changes things. If you had it, if you could snap the fingers and say, I want a one shot of, who would it be? Dan.
Oh, I knew you were going to go to me first. That's a tough one.
Yeah, because you made
One
the
shot
face.
in like a noir, like dark.
No, not noir. A one shot of a character.
Oh, just a one shot of any character.
Yeah, one and done.
Oh my gosh, come back to me.
All right. Everyone's. I see Fable's fucking smoke is coming out of his ears, but I'm gonna go to you. What are you thinking?
Oh my god. Oh, one shot.
Well, actually, who's ready? Who has an answer?
This was a loaded question. Are you strictly Marvel or DC also?
No, we're talking Disney Plus.
Okay. Then, yeah, I still need a minute.
I'm gonna give you 2 real quick. And Blade, in that same style, and Ghost Rider.
As a matter of fact, I'll go. And Ish nailed it. I would want Ghost Rider, 100%, just a one shot in that style. And the second one that I would want in a one shot is Silver Surfer. Just that. Just give me that. Just give me a good 1 hour.
Silver Surfer's good, really good.
Silver Surfer 1 hour. Just give it to me, right?
Because nobody wants to watch that movie for 3 hours.
And Ghost Rider, and give me a good, just badass Ghost Rider. I would love this. Matter of fact, I saw the other day that scene from that Spirit of Vengeance, and I'm like, oh, that's right, they made that movie, didn't they? And I was like, ugh. And at the same time, I was watching Ghost Rider, the first one, clips of it. I'm like, there's parts of that were pretty good, man. There's parts of that when it first came out. I was like, right. That was all right. All right. Anybody? Any other answers?
I mean, the last time I chatted with you guys, we gave Havoc these amazing powers. Why not let Havoc have his own Disney Plus series?
Because nobody will watch it.
Because yeah, exactly
We're
right.
just
Nobody
talking a
will watch.
one shot. We're just talking a one shot.
Just not a series. I'm talking a one shot.
I like Ish's suggestion about Ghost Rider. I'm not gonna. I think that would be great.
I want to see Johnny Blaze more than just one off. I can't. That to me doesn't work. But Mr. Sinister.
Ooh, you know what? That's a good point, Dorf. How about a one shot of a villain? Right? It doesn't have to be a hero. Of course.
That
Come
to
on
me
already.
would be so much more intriguing. Just a one-off of Sinister being as sinister as
The only reason why I because I love it. The only reason why it couldn't be a one-off TV show is because one of the things that I've been promoting to people that a lot of people don't understand, he is the X-Men's #1 villain, period, point blank, and there isn't a close second. Like, he is their biggest villain. I mean, all the other villains, like Apocalypse, Magneto, are and half the time anti-heroes, right? Like, half the time sympathetic and not actual villains.
That's the reason why. That's the reason why you can put him above Magneto. Whatever, Magneto's part of the team at times. Like, you can't.
That's the only reason why I put Mr. Sinister. He's always the worst, no matter what. He's just the worst. You can never trust him. Not period.
I'm not arguing that, but I just think that a 1 hour one-off of him could be really fucking badass.
Really great.
Yeah.
I think a one shot. I mean, we have the X-Men obviously imminently coming, but I would be entertained by a one shot Storm.
Peter just dropped a dope one.
Yeah, the long shot in Mojo's world would be cool one to show. Fable, what are you thinking, man?
I mean, Ghost Rider would probably be my top pick, but I would want to do Danny Ketch. I don't want to do Johnny Blaze. I would do Danny Ketch. And if not, I mean, I've always had an affinity for Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman. I would love to see Jessica Drew get a one shot, because I know they're not going to focus on her in any sort of way. So why not just do a little 1 hour special?
Sabretooth.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones there, but we've kind of have the tendency to forget the villains, and I look around, I'm like, a really cool Luke Cage, just one Luke Cage, but I want the retro Luke Cage. I want Afro Luke Cage.
You want that yellow outfit and silver band.
I want the yellow outfit, bell bottoms with the cuffs and the boot. I want that. I want that Luke Cage. I want time period 70s Cage. And why not? Why not do a one shot of the era where they're supposed to be in? I'm all down for that. Imagine seeing a Luke Cage one shot in the 70s, Afro with the damn stupid thing on his head, all cheesy and campy. That'd be fucking fantastic. Just to, like, see an hour of that. I don't know, man.
Like, if you took like the Sandman and you did it like Sin City, you know what I mean? Like a one shot with like the Sandman with like the Sin City, coloring and narrative. I think that would be really cool too.
Yeah, it's kind of cool when the possibilities, right? If we could, what's up, Luis? If we could just
good night, Abby.
Good night, Abby. Thank you so much and everything. I'm kind of happy that we're, like I said, we're in a time where we can discuss this kind of stuff, and you never know, it could actually happen.
Sleepwalker. I just thought of Sleepwalker for a second. I was like,
oh, that'd be dope. That would be dope, though. That would be really trippy. Really trippy.
Well, we're gonna get, but that's DC. I was gonna say I would say Swamp Thing, but we're gonna get a Swamp Thing. They did talk about just doing a Man Thing one, because they already introduced Ted in the whole scheme of things. All right, if I don't cut it, we'll be on for fucking hours. And it has happened before. Luke Cage fighting in the ghetto streets. Yeah, that's some good stuff, right? One shot Savage Land.
Yeah.
Would be
the
sick.
last one from the X-Men universe to just throw out there.
Kazar, yeah. Okay,
Nightcrawler would be a badass.
I was thinking that as well.
Oh, Nightcrawler would be
Nightcrawler
cool.
Really
would be
great.
a badass
Really
one.
great.
that's the one-shot king right there. Why not? Let's have it.
Right.
That would be
You're
really
absolutely
great.
right.
Nightcrawler. Dominant.
All right, so I'm gonna go around the horn as always. You know, pimp your wares. I know that Fable definitely has something to pimp. Dan, by all means, let's start with you.
Guys, follow me on Instagram, Tree City Comics. Always putting up memes. I'll be reading my new comic books tomorrow and writing about them, so you can find my posts on Instagram. Also, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll with the Comic Underground, we'll be talking about new comic book days on their Off the Rack segment. That's from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, please reach out, friend me, like and share my posts, and love you guys.
All right, let's go, Dorf. What you got?
As I keep saying, I've got some big news coming. It's still a few weeks out, but you can find me all over Facebook. I hunt books for people. I got Ish with a whole bunch of things that he's been looking for in his inbox, waiting for me.
I gotta check that.
Just reach out to me. Let me know. I've got my own stuff, lying around everywhere. Happy to show off and help you guys find what you're looking for. So yeah, just look up Dorf on Facebook. You can't miss me. And thank you for having me, as always.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure. All right, Fable, what do we got going, man?
You can follow me on Instagram and YouTube, One Collection Down. We do a little show called Blame Fable. The Blame Fable show. It's every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube on the One Collection Down channel. This week we're off because, these guys have the nerve to want to, be all lovey-dovey on Valentine's Day. So, I don't know what's going on with these guys lately, but yeah, we take the week off this week, but next Friday we'll be back on. So, we do a lot of the same things you guys do here, talk about pop culture news and topics. And yeah, thanks for having me on, Caesar. Great meeting you, Dan, Dorf, Ish. This was a great conversation. And you're absolutely right. All this speculative talk is what this is all about. Love this kind of thing. So, oh yeah, thanks for a great night.
You got it, pal. Thanks, pal.
Yo,
Ish.
Yo, what up? Y'all know me, Issue X, owner, proprietor of Comic Sense, otherwise known as the Robin Hoods of the unfair market, bringing you the best value on the unfair market. Check out Comic Sense on Facebook at COMIXSENSE. Comic Sense on Instagram, COMIXSENSE. We have a page, we have a group. You can follow me on Instagram at ISHUE.X on Instagram. Again, we're the Robin Hoods of the unfair market. We want all of the smoke with the unfair market. We bring the best value anywhere, period, point, and blank. Check us out.
I got to tell you, Ish knows what he's talking about. This is probably one of the rare times where three guys who, and I'm not saying Dorf, you don't probably read as much as these guys, but all three of these guys, there's some serious effing readers. It's fun when I get guys like this on the show who actually know what the hell they're talking about, unlike me, because they bring in a certain type of angle of, especially when we talk about movies and everything like that, of where it can go based on books. And you guys always introduce new things to us, so it's always good stuff. All right, guys. Well, you know where to find me, right? On the Instagrams, the Real Dracula's Wolf. My voiceovers has been and promos have been kind of dropping. I got a job. Can't spend all day just doing silly caca stuff. That's right, I say caca. But if you do want a voiceover, I did a voiceover for Fable for his promotion show, and so once again, if you need a voiceover, hit me up. Promo reel. I'm still doing those when I get home from work or on the weekends and stuff like that. So this was a fantastic conversation, fantastic guests. Next week, still working on it. I want to do a Golden Age show again with Crime City Comics and Code Blue Comics. And I want to bring in Jeff from the Golden Guru as well. Talk some PCH. Talk some good old Golden Age. I know that the nursing home loves when we do that because they're like, yeah, I remember I had that book. They do a lot of that stuff. So once again, Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. We'll see you next